Hello, new interns. We are back with another intern, and today I'm going to be speaking with Brenda Lai. And Brenda, did I mispronounce your last name?
No, you're good.
Okay, great. I always want to make sure. So we're here with Brenda, and she is a content marketing and social media intern. Now, I'm only going to say that, so if anyone's interested in content marketing or social media marketing, definitely stay tuned for this conversation. But everything from where she works at to what she does will be revealed by her soon enough. Now, with that, I want to get started and ask Brenda our first question, which is, how are you? How are you doing?
I'm good. We just had spring break last week, so definitely feel more refreshed. I still hate my 8 a.m.s, but I'm glad to keep it rolling till the summer.
Brenda, 8 a.m.s? That is really
hmm
tough.
It's not
I
my fault. It was the only class in the section.
oh,
Blame the
okay. I
professor.
was wondering if like you chose that because you loved 8 a.m.s, but I understand that. And just so we kind of know who we're talking to and where you're from, Brenda, where did where are you from? Where did you grow up before coming out to
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so like everyone, I'm from the Bay Area, specifically Cupertino, so like 40 minutes south from San Francisco.
Mm.
Just being surrounded by a lot of tech companies in the Silicon Valley definitely influenced like my passion for wanting to enter tech, specifically for marketing.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm from
Awesome.
Silicon Valley.
Good to hear, fellow Bay Area. Now, currently, where are you going now in terms of schooling? What university do you go to, and what are you majoring in, and when's your expected grad date?
Yeah, so I go to Chapman University, specifically at their Dodge College of Film and Media Arts. I'm a public relations and advertising major, minoring in game development programming, and I'll be graduating in May of 2024.
That's a really cool minor. I have not heard of something like that before. How are you enjoying it in terms of just general academics classes, but also like the people? How's your experience been at Chapman?
Yeah, it's been really good. I think that like growing up where everyone was really competing to go to UCs and like the bigger like CS schools,
Mm.
it never like came to my mind that I could like go to a film school in Southern California. But I really like it because Chapman is like a medium-sized school and our average class sizes are about like 14 people to one professor. So
Oh,
you're able to have those really like close-knit conversations with like your peers and like form those important relationships with your professors. And I feel like I'm able to make a lot of my own opportunities here and
mm,
really like work hard despite like, being in a smaller school.
yeah.
I really like the community. Everyone's passionate about like what they're doing, especially my film school. Like we're all like working on our different like intermediate productions, advanced productions. Like we're all
Mm.
collaborating and everyone's just so like passionate, and it's really cool to see everyone striving to work in the entertainment industry here.
Chapman definitely has some hardworking students. I have a few people over there, and they are definitely overachievers from what I can tell. And when you say, because sometimes I wish I would have entered into film school, but when you say productions, what does that mean? Working on productions with other people.
Yeah, so like in my film school, they're like film production majors, so they could like choose to emphasize in like directing or cinematography or
Mm.
like production design, sound. But then there's like people that major in creative producing who want to work on like the more business side behind the scenes
Oh,
of
gosh.
creating a film. And then
Uh-huh.
we have like people that are studying screenwriting, they're screen actors, so just like the different disciplines within film school. And in our curriculum they have to complete like a senior thesis, which is like I think like a 10-minute short film.
Oh,
So
sounds fun.
there's a lot of collaborations that happen on there because you have to fulfill every role, like like assistant camera, there has to be someone that's like
That's tough.
um being a production assistant. Just there's a lot of like cross functionality. And even like as a PR and ad major, I feel like I can have involvements on sets. Like you're always like people are really open to having you be on their sets. Like you could gain experience
That's
like
cool.
decorating sets. You could like be a production assistant, and you could like for marketing, you could even help run like a film's social media account. So there's a lot of collaboration, even if you're not a film major.
Well, you're in a good spot then in terms of what you're majoring in and where you are in relation to the film school. Now, aside from academics, what do you like to do in your free time? Do you have any hobbies? Do you have any time wasters? What do you like to do?
Yeah, so definitely waste a lot of hours scrolling through TikTok. I do feel like I am being productive because a lot of my job is creating TikTok content. So it's good to see what the kids are liking, like what's
Right.
trending, and how I could like use that content that I'm seeing for future content ideas. But then, I do have like trash on my For You page that I love scrolling through. So hopefully that doesn't get banned. But yeah.
Right.
Um, what else? I love like exploring new food, definitely down Southern California, going to Irvine for the good eats with my friends.
Nice.
Love just like traveling. Although that's been a problem in the last few years, I just love that part of like exploring cultures and also the food. Everything goes back to food. Um, I love photography. I feel like that also goes hand in hand with marketing, being able to capture that through capture visual imagery for your campaigns.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, just like I dabble in a little bit of everything.
sure. That's a solid set of it's a lot more than I would say than many people do here in the city. Most people's hobbies aside from work is just being at home, watching TV, and I can't blame them. I do that too. But and the TikTok thing, I totally relate to that, Brenda. Oh my gosh, there are so many. It's good that you found part of it can actually be applied to your role. Yeah, let's hope it doesn't get banned. Now, as far as your current internship with, well, I'm not going to say that yet. I'm going to let you say it. But can you share with me? I've mentioned it, but if you can reiterate, what is your current intern title? Who are you working for? And kind of who are they? What kind of a company are they?
Yeah, so I'm a content marketing social media intern for a startup called Beautiful AI. So basically, you guys know ChatGPT, right? So
Yeah.
using that same open AI technology, Beautiful AI, with Beautiful AI, you're able to create presentations with artificial intelligence. So yeah, like you don't have to waste hours creating like those 50 slide decks, but just type in a prompt and boom, you can have a good template to work off of. And it's really cool because we also have like AR art that you can like generate, and like each like your copy can be rewritten with the different tones or like for different lengths. And I think that it's a really cool tool for productivity and efficiency
Mhm.
when you have to create a lot of these really detailed pitch decks.
That's crazy that there are tools. I mean, you're working with it, so to you it's cool, but it's not shocking. Like you just told me there's a tool, can generate presentation. That's insane. And I'm getting lost with every new chat GPT AI thing that they're creating. That's really, really cool. How did you kind of get into this role? Did you apply on a job site or did you have a referral or did they reach out to you? How'd you fall into this position?
Yeah, so I would say like during winter break, I was like, I feel like I should really pick up another like piece of experience so I could really formulate my career path before I graduate.
Mhm.
And I was just looking through LinkedIn as one does, looking at the hundreds of job postings. And Beautiful AI really caught my eye. So I applied just like without any referrals, just like cold applying through LinkedIn. And yeah,
Wow.
that's how I found out about the company, and just like reading about the company on their page, but also like doing some Google investigating into who they are.
Uh-huh. And so when you were during winter break, previous winter break, when you were looking for jobs, what were you kind of looking for? Like what were you putting in the search bar of LinkedIn?
Yeah, so just like marketing intern for the most general broad
Yeah.
widening, but then I just like to look through every single one even if it's not completely relevant to me.
Mhm.
and just seeing like the word AI for beautiful AI, I'm like, oh, like, obviously artificial intelligence has been like a really big trending topic
Uh-huh.
with a lot of schools starting to ban chat GPT, and there's so many like different debates about it. So
Yeah.
that was really intriguing to me just because of that trending topic. But I also look for like social media internships because just like doing a lot of these positions, like I'm starting to specialize in like a subsection of marketing. And
Mhm.
then I also like to look for like tech marketing just because that's like the industry I want to enter.
Awesome. And, during this period where you were applying, winter break, how many, if you can remember, roughly how many applications did you send out during this period?
I would say around like 50,
Oh,
like
wow.
on and off for a few weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. Like
So,
I've been applying to like mostly like bigger name companies before that.
yeah.
So I wasn't really like, um picky.
Uh-huh.
Wait, no, I think I'm at the point where um I'm really intentional with the jobs I'm applying for. Like I'm not gonna apply to a job if I don't really like picture myself doing that job. I don't see a point in like wasting my time and the company's time if I'm put into that process. So around like
Yeah.
50-ish companies that I've been interested in.
Cool. Well, you definitely have stamina to have put in 50 over a couple of weeks because let me tell you, when I am just throwing out five, it feels like it's taking me hours. It's so hard, Brenda. Well, you know how it is, obviously. And how long after so you applied through LinkedIn, how long did it take for them to reach out to you and give you your whatever, a call back, an email?
Yeah, so I believe like a week later, I got email saying that they're interested in talking to me in the initial interview. So I interviewed with my now manager,
Mhm.
and that was a no, actually, I lied. I had a conversation with the senior manager at the time. She's now the VP of marketing,
Oh, okay.
but like my boss's boss, which was really intriguing,
Uh-huh.
and just had a good conversation with her about my general experience and like why I'm interested in working for Beautiful AI. Then I think once a few days after that, then I was passed off for another interview with my now manager to talk more specifically about the responsibilities and how my experience could
Oh, got
tie into that and like essentially what I want to learn throughout the internship.
And then how soon after that interview was it that they essentially gave you the yes that you're in, you got it?
Yeah, I think another week after that, right after my interview, like a day after, I got email from the senior manager like, "Oh, like do you have like a portfolio of your content?" Because I think they were still like nailing down the details, and they also asked for like when I was going to graduate and how many hours I'm looking for. So
Uh-huh.
I think that was more information gathering, but they also want to look at like my portfolio, like I said, because I think a lot of the role is creating social media content. So that was like the last step.
So I'm really curious, as I'm sure everybody who will be listening, kind of what they saw in you. So clearly they picked you. You had a compelling application, but then obviously your performance during the interview got you this role. What would you say? What were they most interested in knowing about you?
Definitely my content creation background because I think their goal for this intern was to basically like create more short form video content, which I have a lot of experience in and like showed a lot of interest in doing.
Mhm.
So big emphasis on like the ability to create social media and being able to target consumers through that way. And I think like what else stood out about me is that I took the time to research the company. I think for smaller companies, people usually don't really go into like research or like
Sure.
attempt to really understand like what that company's about because there won't be that much information. But then I was like looking at like the Series B funding the company got and like
Oh,
different
yeah.
like mentioned, yeah, the different news mentions that Beautiful AI had. Like they were really like surprised when I was able to like recall some facts during my interview. So I think for like startups or like smaller companies, it's really important for the person to take that initiative to research and really show your
Mhm.
interest in the company by taking that extra step.
Totally, totally. And as for when they asked you for your portfolio, you mentioned to me that you do have a lot of experience in content creation, especially with social media. What sorts of things did you send over in your portfolio, or what examples did you talk about in your interview? Kind of what is your background?
Yeah, so I spent like winter break creating a pretty comprehensive portfolio. So this portfolio has like videos I made for my film school because at my film school I work as the lead content creator. So I have a whole like
Oh,
TikTok profile that I grew like over the course of 6 months.
mhm,
So I was able to like embed that TikTok profile into the portfolio. And then like for my school's like career office, I also was like a marketing assistant. So then I had like different like Instagram stories I made, like use I have like graphic design skills.
mhm.
So like stuff from my classes, because in classes we created a lot of like um campaigns and like pretend social media posts. So a lot of stuff from classes and like former positions, and I'm just like um I guess a combination of like photography, graphic design. I had like stuff that I've written for like a PR internship to show off like writing skills.
Wow.
I had like my social media content. Like I don't know, I consider myself like a pretty well-rounded
Yeah,
marketer.
I'd say so. You just named like 5 different places where you've collected experience from, and I have to ask another question about that because
Mhm.
that is a lot, and I would say it's uncommon for an intern to have that much experience, or at least from what I've heard from others. So, when did you really start accumulating your experience in content creation, or maybe even your first internship or relevant job? When did this kind of journey start? And can you give me kind of like a mini timeline if you're able to?
Mhm. Yeah, so I entered college August of 2020. Obviously, lots of COVID things
Oh yeah.
happened, so didn't really get into the grind until May of 2021. That's when I became like um, I was like a office assistant for my school's like campus design department. So they're in charge of making sure the school's like pretty and architecturally built. So I helped with like some graphic design there, like helping them create presentations for different meetings. It was like basically administrative work, but a combination of some like creative support. Then during that same stretch from like May 2021 to August 2021, I was also doing like this internship at um this travel agency. I was like social media intern. So then that's how I got some experience with creating content, like travel
So how'd
content.
you score that one?
Oh, like I applied through Handshake around like April-ish of 2021. I
Oh
just had like a quick interview and he's like, "Oh, like are you able to get started?"
yeah.
I
So
think it was like one of those like weird unpaid ones where
oh
you don't really have to have like a lot of experience,
uh-huh.
but yeah, so I was able to like get experience through that. There's like a lot of volunteers through that internship program.
Oh okay.
Then I was able to get my marketing assistant job at the career office from uh I started in August of 2020. Yeah, sorry. My brain's fuzzy.
Of
August
22.
of 2022. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. So I started that. Wait, no, I started that from August of 2021.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Okay, yeah, because I have so many jobs. I
Yeah.
started that from August 2021, and I ended recently in January 2023. So that was like a year and a half of experience. So I was a marketing assistant for my school's career office. So that was a lot of like promoting our different on-campus events for career and professional development. For example, the different like workshops we had for cover letters, resumes, like any drop-in opportunities for students to meet with peer advisors.
Mhm.
Um, and the biggest event, the recruiting event of the semester, which was a career fair. So my goal was that with my lead at the time, we wanted to make the career office really relatable because, career information isn't the most
Right.
engaging. And obviously, like, students won't really engage with our content because the content's not interesting to them. But then we were able to really, like, use storytelling and different trends to make, like, career finding, like, relatable. Like, for example, um, we had like this job searching TikTok, and it was me and my coworker. We were just like, Indiana Jonesing, like pretending to like look for different like jobs like
That's a fun
around
idea.
campus. Yeah, so that was the majority of my content creation, like the birth. That's like where it came from. How I was able to like be more fun and flexible with my ideas. Like I was glad that job gave me that creative liberty to go crazy, but also like bring value to our target audience of college students.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that.
Then then I had my PR internship from January to um, no, from March 2022
Mhm,
to June of 2022. I had that PR internship just because I wasn't really familiar with that side of my major. I'm a public relations and advertising major.
mhm.
So I wanted to like see if I liked PR. It's really cool, but it wasn't the thing for me, but it was good to explore that. Then I had my first tech internship with Autodesk from um, June of 2022 to August of 2022. And
Oh.
that was really cool just because that's like where the tech experience came in. And it's
Yeah.
really similar to Beautiful AI, where it's like a software as a service as a product.
Mhm,
And I had a lot of experience like paid media campaigns and the more like data analysis part of marketing, like looking at the data and how we could iterate that for future um, campaigns. Then I
mhm.
started my content creation job for my film school as the lead content creator from August 2022, and I'm still doing that. And I started the Beautiful AI internship from January 2023 to currently.
That is so much work that you've done, but it's like totally paying off, 100% of it. Um, Man, you got to explore the PR, which is relevant to your major, but you it seems like you really know now, or at least are really narrowing down what it is that you want to do. Um, and I'm assuming all of these, or at least a majority of these positions, you earn through cold applying, like through
Mhm.
websites. That's really impressive, Brenda, because there are a lot of people who I didn't know this until I started doing interviews that get their internships by knowing someone. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it can be disheartening to hear that. But
Mhm, for
seriously,
sure.
props to you for getting all these roles and just building your experience. And thanks for explaining it all and keeping the times in order. Now, as for kind of what you do in your current role with Beautiful AI, I'm curious to know. So you already mentioned it's part-time, and are there other interns, or at the moment are you an intern just under your superior, your boss?
I'm not sure if there are any other interns, but
Okay.
I'm the only intern under my boss.
Mhm. And is it kind of like a smaller? I think you said it was a startup, or I might have misheard you. Is it
Yeah,
a?
startup.
Oh, okay. So between like 0 and 50 employees, 0 and 10, do you kind of know?
0 to 50. I think they're around 30 employees, if I remember correctly.
Okay, that's a good size. And are you in more of a, if you were to characterize your position, would you say that it's more of a support role or more of a project oriented role?
I'd say project oriented because I do like I am given a lot of my own like individual projects to finish. Like I guess if you consider like each piece of content that needs to be posted as a
Mhm.
separate project, like I do initiate a lot of things, and me and my manager like create a content calendar for every month for us to keep track of the different deliverables that we want to post per social media site.
I'd love to hear if you could give me kind of an overview of what you do, including even if you do stuff like clean up a Excel sheet. So I'd love to hear just all of it if you could kind of yeah give an overview.
Yeah, I would say majority of it is like creating social media content. So on Asana, we just like, organize like what type of video should be posted on each platform, like how, like what images should be posted, like when should we promote different events. So um, those responsibilities include like cutting together a video from a webinar, like into like a smaller video. Like let's
Uh,
say the webinar is like 2 hours, and then I have to like find the most important parts. So editing MP4s is like a part of it. Um, then also like I have to create some of my own graphics, like different infographics for
really?
or like different carousels. Yeah, I do a lot of graphic design, and I create a lot of TikToks and Instagram Reels, and scheduling all of that, like creating and scheduling content. And oh, there's a lot of community management. I have to look at each of our social media platforms and look at our mentions, like
Mhm.
which posts have the most mentions, and if like a post has like more than 10,000 messages, then I have to flag it and
Oh,
like post in our Slack and be like, oh, like look, this popped off. So yeah, looking through like what's popular and like what are people saying about our brand on social media. So I guess social listening.
uh-huh.
I also interact with them, like if they like share us in a LinkedIn post, and I'm like, thank you so much for sharing, and just really interacting with our customers who like show us love on social media. And I've been delving more into like influencer marketing because
Ooh,
we want to like work with AI or tech influencers or marketers in the TikTok space to create like short form videos for us. So I've been like researching like who are key influencers, like are they like are they is their content like perfect for our brand, and communicating with them through email to see like what their media kits are and how like we could all collaborate together, like would like making sure that we're able to meet their needs in terms of budgeting,
yeah.
and that yeah. So for that I create like a whole like brief on like project deliverables and what we're looking for in terms of contact and content, and just a lot of facilitation of information between my manager and the influencers.
Wow. So when you say you created a brief on the project deliverables, so essentially you're creating like a document or a set of documents to send over or email these influencers that you find, and you're just describing to them essentially like what you guys need, what you would need from them, stuff like that, right?
Yeah, and also like more information about like what beautiful AI is, and like more about our latest feature that we want them to like specifically promote.
That's a that's quite a task for an intern, I would say, because I've heard of other interns where they get the script and they do the
Mhm.
research for the influencers, but they just send the script. But you actually had a hand in making it, so pretty
Yeah, I think with when you're working in startups, you're able to make a bigger impact just because the team is condenser, and you're able to create those opportunities for yourself by supporting the team.
totally. And oh, and by the way, can I ask how many hours? Because this is a lot of stuff. How
Yeah.
many hours a week do you work?
Like only 12.
And you're able to, wow. Okay. That's impressive, Brenda. So I've written down everything here. I have a few questions just about
Mhm.
certain stuff. Now, what social media outlets are you working on mainly
For this internship?
for this internship? Sorry, yeah.
Definitely LinkedIn for that B2B audience. Instagram a little bit, TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook.
Oh, so like all of them.
Yeah.
Great. Um, and let me look here. Okay, you repurpose a lot of content, and oh, and this content calendar.
Mhm.
I feel like this would be very overwhelming to hear okay, there's all these social media channels. We need your help to create content for a variety of these, if not all. How are you receiving your assignments? Like, are they giving you a vague direction, like, hey, can you make content for Twitter? And then you just have to solve that? Or what's kind of your direction that you get? And then how do you work off that?
Yeah, so every shift I have like a one-on-one with my manager. So then we kind of talk about like, oh, what do I have to do for the day? And if I finish that, then what are some of the tasks I could do for the later days
Mhm.
during the week? So that's how I get my assignments. And yeah, in terms of like knowing what to post for each medium, like um I suggested that like we should start using polls because like it's a great way to interact with people who are learning about the AI industry and seeing their opinions on like the growth and like the different consequences in this like really confusing topic. So using
Yeah.
poll as a medium. So through that we know that LinkedIn has polls, Instagram stories have polls, Twitter has polls. So that kind of dictates like the content for that. And I've
Oh,
also started using carousels because I've seen the trend of like these AI companies like spotlighting other AI companies. So
mhm.
it's like a list of tools like for productivity in the AI space. Like that's mainly the type of content I see.
Yeah.
So I started making like carousels, like spotlighting different like AI startups, but also like a carousel on the different features in our products. So using that sort of
Oh,
infographic
nice.
media, and that's supported through LinkedIn. You can also post that on Twitter as like different threads. You could post that on Instagram. Then, like in terms of short form video content, Instagram Reels and TikTok supports that. So it's like looking at each platform and like different like content that would be best for it. Because for LinkedIn, you know that you're able to reach like more like C level suite C suite people
Mhm.
and people that are like in charge of businesses. So it's about knowing the audience and like what type of content that they um, want to see. Like you want to reach the right audience at the right time with the right message.
So sometimes like with the that one piece of content that you were just explaining, you were able to repurpose it for all pretty much every channel. But you're saying the audiences are sometimes significantly different across social media channels, so you have to really change it, you know, to match
Yeah.
like people. That's a
Yeah,
lot.
even if you're not, yeah, even if you have like the same content, then it's like the little things that matter, like changing the headline, changing the call to action, changing like the copy, because obviously on LinkedIn versus Twitter, the messaging is going to be kind of different in
Yeah.
terms of like what people post.
And for all of these, are you having to create like 99% of these posts, like even the copy, or is it for some of the social media posts, do you just have to contribute part of it? Essentially, I'm just curious as to whether or not you're building entire media posts, like let's say for Instagram, the carousel, the graphic design, the copy, the hashtags, like that's I don't know how someone could produce that much volume. Or is it more like you are working on just the copy for one post and someone else contributes the other? What's kind of the balance between the posts?
I guess it's a little bit of both because like for the carousels, there'll be like different infographics on that or like different um like icons that have to be on each carousel.
Hmm.
So we have a graphic designer, and I usually like ask her if she has any like assets that I could use, or sometimes she would help me like create different visual assets. Like whenever I create graphics, they go through her just to make sure that the branding is consistent across the different channels. And then sometimes I'll like receive like different videos that I should post or different like um thing content pieces. Like we have testimonials that we post from customers,
Hmm.
so then there's a different marketing manager that feeds me the information from for the quote for the image. So I'm given some of these assets and kind of just like repurposing them or like designing them differently.
Yeah, that makes sense. Wow, Brenda, you described your role seriously well, and I honestly felt slightly overwhelmed by how much you But I can definitely tell that you're able to manage that. And I kind of want to move into the last part of this interview, which
Mhm.
is understanding your final thoughts on your experience. And so the first thing I'd like to ask is what do you think is the most valuable thing that you've learned working for Beautiful AI so far?
Um, just definitely the importance of managing tasks when you're working in the world of social media and you have to post all of these different forms of content and you have to schedule everything and coordinate everything. But also at the same time, different events can happen. Like the world is spinning, right? Like different like disasters can happen. So you gotta be really agile and um flexible at the same time. You have to organize your thoughts. Like it's really important for you to organize like your priorities and make sure that you're doing everything. So whether you're using like a task management platform or just like, using a post-it note and just writing it down, it's so easy to just like balance yourself and remember you have to do this.
Yeah. And if there was maybe and that was advice, but more catered to people who are looking to internships, do you have any quick advice, good advice for these job seekers, for people looking for internships like Beautiful AI or just internships in general?
Yeah, in general, I think that people are sometimes afraid to even like apply, even if they think that they're not qualified enough. But think about it, like you're a college student and you're applying for an internship. Like part of that internship is where you're gonna learn. Like they want you to learn. Like you don't have to know everything when you're applying to these positions. Like even the most experienced people I've seen that got like some of the stuff I applied for, like it makes sense why they got it. And
Mm,
just because you haven't done like X, Y, and Z doesn't mean that you can't like shoot your shot and try for it. I think that yeah, like in your interviews, you just have to show a lot of like passion and research and making sure that like how your experience how like that internship will fit into your experience. I think that people should be pretty purposeful when they apply to internships. Like don't just apply um just to like do something. It's
yeah,
good to like try different things, but you want to be purposeful with the different like avenues that you're trying to fit because your whole like career journey as a college student is like a big like bridge and you want to build through that. So just be really intentional with what you're selecting because it's no use trying for an internship that good to try different industries. It's good to try different sort of responsibilities within marketing and just don't be afraid to click apply. Like you never know what's going to happen. Like there could be someone that could find potential for you.
that's great advice, Brenda. Thank you. Now, um, great responses all around. I feel like I learned a lot about just the application process in general and Beautiful AI. And we're going to wrap this interview up. But if anyone who's watching is interested in reaching out to Brenda, I'm sure she would be more than okay if you tried to connect with her on LinkedIn. And if there are any other resources or social media channels or something that Brenda wants to include in the newsletter, then we will include that below as well. But otherwise, I want to say thanks again for coming out, having this conversation with me, and for giving this advice to everyone who will be watching. I enjoyed it, and I hope that we can stay connected, Brenda.
Mhm. Thank you for having me.
Of course. You take care.